Hello, fellow musicians, producers, and DJs. My last video, I showed you how to top and tail and prepare a sample ready to drop into a sampler instrument. You can see I'm using Logic's sampler instrument. The default is EXS24. Ableton has its own sampler instrument, the simpler, but I'll be using this one. So we open the sampler instrument in a software instrument track in order to be able to drop our topped and tailed sample into it. In order to manipulate it, on the top right-hand corner, click Edit. Brings up the virtual keyboard. As you can hear, I'm clicking, but there's no audio being heard. So we get the topped and tailed sample that's been prepared earlier. We drop it onto the virtual keyboard. Oh, it's saying we can't, but here we go. I'll drop it onto C1 because I know that that's where it works. It indicated that we could, plus you can see that there's a sample there. D, nothing plays. B, nothing plays, but C1, there it is. And I'm also pressing it on my keyboard. We can now further pitch that across a whole octave or however many octaves you desire. If we take pitch off, you'll simply hear the same note across every key. That's been highlighted, by the way. But now pitch, when it's on, every highlighted key for that particular audio sample will be pitched. And there we go. That's the pitched sample that we've topped and tailed. If you take first shot off, which I'd prefer for this particular sample, it allows us to control the gate. How long do we want the audio to play for? For example, I'm tapping them very quickly on my keyboard. I can do it with the virtual keyboard. And what that is doing right now is allowing us to determine how long the sample plays for. And that's what first shot does. If it's on, it plays for the whole way through every time. Every time you press a key, no matter how fast. But I want it off right now so we can determine the gate. I know for a fact that this isn't in C, even though we've made it from C1 to C2. I played this in, I'm pretty sure, G. But a great way to enable, or to make sure that our created sampler instrument is tuned and in key, bring up a tuner. Yeah, see, there you go. It's in G. Oh, it's a little bit flatter than I like. There we go. It's around C. We can fine tune it a bit, I think. It's a bit low. Nice. I'm happy with that. So I'm pressing C1, should be C. Pressing C2, should be C. Pressing E. There we go. It's in E. We've tuned our virtual instrument in order for us to be able to play it. So whenever I play chords, keys, or whatever, it should be in key. It's in C. Wonderful. Now that is the basics of dropping your topped and tailed samples onto your sampler instrument. The wonderful thing about these sampler instruments is you can layer, you can add, you can determine the output where the sound's being heard. When you press C1, you can see this column has a lot of room for other audio samples to be triggered, whether you want to tune them or not, whether you wanted to pan them or not. You can determine where the sample starts and finishes as well. These sampler instruments can also be further manipulated. They can be automated, and you can determine how the sound reacts to your pressing of the key. Envelope 2 here in the EXS24 is the amplitude envelope. So you can then further sound design the overall output of the audio. So a really wonderful way to have a very hands-on approach to your sound design. You might have an external instrument where you've created this wicked synth bass. And what you can do then is bounce out that synth, drop it, top and tail it first, of course, drop it into your EXS24, your sampler instrument, and further manipulate it and make it your own instrument. So then when you go to play, when you go to put your feel, your character into the performance, you'll have something very unique, and you'll have something that you have created yourself. For any, if not all of your productions, you can do this. You can do it for strikes, you can do it for kicks, you can create a sine wave kick, pitch it across all the keys, so whenever you go to create a track, you know once you hit that D, that's your kick in the key of the track that you're creating. Really wonderful way to be able to get some unique instruments that you can save, further edit, further add to, copy, and sound design something unique and distinctive to your production.